Hey friends, happy Wednesday the 17th of April, third week of Easter. It's nice to take a moment and be with you. I am Father Bill Hill, priest at Holy Spirit Catholic Community in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I will share with you a reflection on the daily readings. The readings are linked down below. Click the link, read the readings prayerfully, and then turn off the screen, spend some time with God before you move on to other things. Two announcements. One, capital campaign receptions. We have two tomorrow, Thursday, one at 12 noon and one at 6 p.m. We would love it if you would join with us. A great opportunity to hear our parish plan, as well as to ask all of the questions that your heart desires. Please RSVP to the parish office so that we can be prepared for you if you're able to join us. Second announcement. Confirmation is Friday. Please be praying for our confirmation students. I think 34 young people will be sealed in the Holy Spirit. So please pray for them and pray for folks that are celebrating sacraments of initiation around the world, right? Our readings today, we have continuation of Acts of the Apostles and the Bread of Life discourse from the 6th chapter of St. John. Yesterday we heard of the martyrdom of St. Stephen, the first martyr, and we heard at the very end, now Saul was consenting to his execution. Now we hear that a persecution breaks out against the church, and Saul does terrible things. The apostles stay in Jerusalem, but the rest of the church scatters across the countryside. I'm struck by the apostles staying in Jerusalem. You know, they presumably prayerfully discerned that and reflected on it. How about for us? When are the times that we are called to be flexible, right? Like the church that disperses to the countryside. When are the times we are called to be faithful and dutiful and to stay firm? What's the Lord calling us to in these days? Like discerning the difference between those two can definitely be a help. The second one, we hear of how the persecution creates missionary zeal. And so Philip goes to Samaria, generally a place that's considered to be fairly opposed to Jewish folks, and Philip himself is a Jewish follower of Jesus, the Jewish Messiah, and he goes there and he proclaims the Christ, and they receive the good news with great joy. So maybe there are two things. One is, how is God using challenge, difficulty, the cross, persecution, to create transformation and change within us in these days? The second is maybe how is God inviting us to knock down barriers and to share love and faith and grace, perhaps with individuals in our world and in our lives that we would not expect to be sharing grace and love and faith. Okay. Gospel of John. We have the Bread of Life discourse all this week, John 6. So it's a meditative, like repetitive sort of movement as Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Today we hear some beautiful words that I do think are very useful in the midst of this to meditate upon, right? Everything that the Father gives me will come to me. I will not reject anyone who comes to me. Maybe you just sit with that Jesus who does not reject us, Jesus who does not turn us away, Jesus who accepts us today as we are, perhaps even as we struggle with parts of ourselves that we are struggling to integrate and to accept. Jesus doesn't do his own will, he does the will of the one who sent him. Perhaps we simply pray, your will be done, the words of the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer. But then this is the will of the one who sent me, that I should not lose anything of what he gave me, but that I should raise it on the last day. And that's you. That's me, to be raised on the last day. What kind of confidence does that give us, that it is the will of the Father through Jesus to raise you on the last day, to raise me on the last day, to tell us that we don't have to be perfect or get it right, but that indeed the Lord is taking care of absolutely everything. How does that change and transform our lives? Jesus is the bread of life. May we not hunger, may we not thirst, but may we rest in him. Read those readings prayerfully and turn off the screen. Spend some time before you move on to other things. Pray for folks that are having a hard time. Please be praying for our confirmation students. God bless y'all.